Hello, beautiful ones. This is Lisa Turner from Psycademy. So wherever you are seeing this, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or wherever, hello and I love you and welcome. So we've just come off a coaching call that I run with my spiritual success masterminders. And at the end, I just had this feeling it was time to invoke my guides and let them ask some questions. So we did like a little 20-30-minute channeling session just for them. One of the questions was really interesting and I thought I would raise it with you. So one of the questions was, will I succeed? Will I succeed? And my guides actually really struggle to answer questions like that, because the whole way the question is asked is if we look at what's presupposed in the question. So one of the things, one of the ways my guides work is, so first of all, my guides, they're not dead people. They're a highly evolved stream of consciousness, and I invoke them. They come right into my body. When I do that, it is absolutely bliss. It is bliss in the body, because that's what source in the body feels like. It feels like absolute ecstasy. So the question they ask, so somebody asked the question, will I succeed? Now, one of the ways my guides work is when they answer a question, what they're kind of listening for and what they're looking at in the neurology, in your mindset, because that's what they do. They kind of look at your mindset and then work out what is it that's missing from their knowledge and their experience of the universe, of the world, that would have them even ask that question in the first place. So it's not, I mean, they do answer the questions, and sometimes they're very straightforward. But what they're often looking at is, what has that person actually asked the question in the first place? So if you think about the question, will I succeed? And thinking about what's presupposed in that question. Hi, Alexandra. I'm really good today. Thank you. I'm super duper today. I'm having a fabulous day. So think about this. What is presupposed in the question, will I succeed? So I'll give you some hints. So one of the things that's presupposed is, just fix my hair in the video. There we are. I look much better now. One of the things that's presupposed is that somebody outside of the questioner gets to decide whether or not they succeed. So it's like, so if I think about the question, will I have a drink of water? Like that would, will I have a drink of water? That's kind of if I ask that question, people will go, well, I don't know. Will you? Like, will you go and reach over and have a drink of water? Or will you not? I think I will, actually. So how you decide, I just put water all over myself. Anyway, so how you decide whether, how do you decide whether or not you have a drink of water? Well, you make the decision. You decide. That's obviously something you're in control of, right? But when it comes to succeeding, what's presupposed in that is that somebody outside of you gets to decide whether or not you succeed. So this comes down to a little bit into how we set goals, because we often set goals and outcomes in ways that are just totally unachievable. And there's a bunch of stuff out there on the internet, so I'm not going to go over how you set goals. There's SMART goal settings, those specific, measurable, meaningful, achievable, realistic, and timed, and all that. That's really important. That's really useful. But even more important than that, I think a lot of people set the outcome as the goal. And one of the things that I think, if we start to, so I'm going to give you this novel way of thinking about whether or not you achieve something, and how. So think about the outcome. So let's take losing weight as an example. So a lot of people set the goal losing weight or achieving a particular weight. Maybe it's gaining weight, so it's achieving a particular weight. And they'll set a goal of, I want to be 65 kilos, I want to be 75 kilos, I want to be whatever it is, I want to be X kilos. And that sounds really great, and that sounds very specific and measurable and achievable and realistic and timed. I want to do that in a certain time. Sounds really great, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It's like, how do you do that? How do you actually get that result? Well, there's some actions you need to take. Now, if you want to lose weight, generally it's move more, eat less, drink water, right? Move more, eat less, drink water. That's like you can fancy it up and like special diets and things like that, but it's pretty much those three things. So the thing that you are in control of is moving more, eating less, drinking water. then what happens is the result of those actions is that you will lose weight. And like, you know, it will happen. Everyone who does that, it just happens, right? So just looking at my water glass there, thinking, oh, there I was just doing the water thing. So like I've got this specific goal of I want to really increase my cardiovascular fitness. And one of the reasons I want to do that is when I invoke, I'm invoking at the moment, not just No One Guide, who's my kind of regular everyday guide, or they are a bunch of really highly evolved consciousness, pretty not every day for most people. But when I'm invoking the spheres, which are these highly evolved entities and portals to other dimensions, so it's kind of like I'm invoking this in super powered energy. When I do that, I don't breathe. I actually forget to breathe. And I think it's because the spheres and the entities, they have no concept, these highly evolved beings, they have no concept of breathing, of how to run a physical body. And so I forget to breathe. And so the length of time that I can invoke for is dependent on whether or not I actually remember to breathe when I'm invoked, which I kind of often don't, and how fit I am. So what I've decided to do is to massively increase my cardiovascular fitness. Now, here's the really interesting thing is, I don't have a specific outcome. Like, I don't know whether I don't have a resting pulse rate or a particular speed of running or anything like that. So it's actually really not a great goal in terms of the classic goal setting. But here's the thing I am doing is if you were to look at my diary, every day, every week, you would see in my diary little green boxes. And those little green boxes are Lisa does exercise. In fact, there's swim. So I'm swimming at least once a week. I'm running at least once a week, and I'm doing weight training at least once a week, mostly twice a week. So I'm exercising 3 to 5 times a week. And as a result of that, my cardiovascular fitness will improve. It can't not. So I've actually done, because that's the thing I'm in control of. I get to choose, will I go running today? Well, not today, actually, because today's not a running day. Today's a rest day, because I did weight training yesterday and I ran really hard the day before. Tomorrow is a swimming day. So will I go swimming tomorrow? I get to choose that, right? That's me. So what my invitation to you is to think about the outcome you want to achieve and what is it that you need to do to actually achieve the outcome. So if it's get more clients, here's the big secret to getting more clients. It's having sales conversations. So you're not really in control. Like, okay, we talk about being the creator of our universe and we can set a nice measurable goal of 10 clients or whatever. But the thing is, unless you go up to somebody and say, I think I can help you. Here's what I could do. Here's the result you can get. Here's how much it would cost. Do you want it or what? And they say yes or no. That's a sales conversation. Obviously, you do it with a little bit more finesse than that. But you know what? Being straightforward has its benefits too. But every time you do that, every time you invite somebody to work with you in exchange for your fee, that's a sales conversation, and that you are absolutely in control of. You can influence and be quite powerful in both your energy and your influence and the sophistication of your sales conversation that would enable you to increase the likelihood of somebody choosing to work with you or not, and thus you getting those 10 clients or whatever it is a week you want. But the only thing you can absolutely perfectly control is, do you have the sales conversation? So when you want to know if you will succeed in something, measure the thing you need to do to get the result. So measure how many sales conversations, how many times did you pick up the phone or speak to someone and say, I think I can help you. Here's what I can do. Here's the results. Here's what it will cost. Do you want it or what? Like every time you do that, that's a sales conversation. That's what you're in control of. You get to choose whether or not you do that action. So if I want to increase my cardiovascular fitness, I get to choose, do I go running or do I eat a piece of cake, right? And, one's going to work and one's probably not, and I'll leave you to figure it out. So what I'm going to talk in a minute about hope, faith, believing, and knowing. But do you have any questions about anything at all? Happy to answer any questions about anything. And what are your thoughts on that? Like, what's the goal that you've got? Actually, that'd be a really great game to play. Let's post your goal. And even if you're listening to the recording later, post what your outcome is. And then let's think about what are the actions that you can absolutely do or not do that will get you to that outcome. So post your goal, what it is you want. And then let's have a think about it. And then what are you going to commit to? And you know what? Posting it here and committing to it, oh, it's got itchy face. Posting it here and committing to it will absolutely, like making this as a public declaration. Like, here I am, maybe really vulnerable here, saying I'm increasing my cardiovascular fitness. I'm exercising 3 to 5 times a week, depending on the week and stuff like that, depending on the intensity of the exercise. So sometimes I'll exercise 3 times a week, but they might be 2 really intensive, 2 or 3 really intensive sessions, versus I might, I got a hair on my face. I might do, 5 times a week of lower intensity. So, but those are things I'm in control of. So what are your outcomes? What is the goal? And what's the action that you're going to take to get you there? So that would be really cool. And if you like this, if it makes sense, click the little likey buttons, the little hearty buttons. I like those. That would be cool too. And don't worry if you're listening to the replay, it still counts if you post, and I'll still come back and check this and answer your questions. So while you're having a moment to do that, I will talk about hope, faith, believing, whether or not you have hope, faith, belief, believing, or knowing. Okay, so going back to that question, will I succeed? Will this particular outcome happen? One of the things that governs whether or not we take the actions is how strongly we know we can achieve the outcome. And so hope is what most people say, and that's like most ordinary people. So most people, they have hope. I hope things get better. I hope next year's better than this last year. I hope I make more money. I hope I lose weight. I hope I get fitter. I hope my boyfriend comes back. I hope he doesn't leave me. I hope. And it's energetically weak and relatively meaningless. Now, it's not to say, like abandon hope, but just recognize that it has very limited value when it comes to you getting your results. So I actually had somebody who said they wanted to take a class with me. They wanted to join me on one of my courses, and they said, hopefully next year. And it's like, no. Like, do you want it or what? She wanted it. She did want it. So it's not hopefully next year. It's decide. Know that you're going to do it next year. And the way you do that is you sign up somewhere, right? And we figure that out. So hope is like just this kind of wishy-washy, and there's probably not a lot of action. It's like, oh, I hope I lose weight, or I hope I get fitter. Like, do you get how, like, when you say, I hope I get fitter, isn't really a lot of energy behind that. So Rachel, thank you for posting. She said, I want to be free from addiction. I've been battling it for many years, but I always seem to fall back. Okay, so addiction's really interesting. That's actually a not doing. And again, you get to decide. I know it doesn't feel like you're always in control of it when you're in an addiction. I've done a lot of work with people addicted to alcohol, to cigarettes, to various drugs, and to various things. A lot of people addicted to sex and pornography. And the thing is, it's like they say they're not going to do something, and then they find themselves, oh, I'll just do it this one last time. So but here's the thing. You get to decide. Now, the thing with addiction that I will let you know is, an addiction is always an attempt to meet a need at the level of the unconscious mind. And the reason you have that need is because you feel separate from source, where you don't feel whole. And if you don't feel whole and complete, then you perceive yourself as missing something. And so you try to fill that thing that you think you're missing with the thing that you're addicted to. So whether, if it's, let's say it's food. So a lot of people, they eat emotionally. So, we know about emotional eating, right? They eat because they feel they've got low self-worth. So negative feelings come up. And in order to avoid those negative feelings, to try and meet that feeling of worthiness, they eat or whatever. Yeah. So the way we work in Psycademy is we would find what that unmet need is, release that as if it's a limiting belief, and then restore you to wholeness energetically and in your neurology, and then you no longer have the need for the addiction. Now, does that guarantee you don't have the addiction? No, because you still get to choose whether or not you drink the alcohol, eat the cake, whatever it is you're addicted to. But that's the reason that you haven't found that easy, my darling, is because you've had that unmet need at the level of the deepest part of the unconscious mind. It's completely, and you won't even know what it is. And because the thing is, if you knew what it was, you probably wouldn't have it, right? So that's part of the skill, is actually finding it. Right, so hope is that weak, wishy-washy. Oh, I hope I get free of addiction. Yeah, right. And that maybe that's, I don't know, felt a bit stronger than that. Felt a bit like, Rachel, my darling, you felt like you were a bit stronger than hope. Then we have faith. Now, faith is where you have faith. You have faith that this thing is going to transpire, that you are going to get this result. A little bit stronger. but it's still not like absolutely certain, and it still feels like it's external to you. Like, I have faith that I'll go swimming or running tomorrow. I think I'll go swimming tomorrow. I have faith that I'll go swimming tomorrow. I have faith in that. I feel, yeah. Then we move to belief. Now, belief is when you believe that it will happen. When you have belief, you believe it will happen. Rachel, you're so welcome. You're so welcome, my darling, and good luck with that. Call our office if you want to talk to one of our coaches about working with us. We're very happy to do that. Just go to the website, phone numbers at the bottom, or ping it. Go to the one-to-one section and look at some of the one-to-one offers that we have and ways you can work with us, if that helps. So belief is when you believe that it will happen. But even belief isn't as strong as knowing. Okay, so belief is when you believe that you will do something or something will happen versus knowing it. Now, when you know it, there's just like, it's an awareness. It's in your awareness that it exists, and it may not be present here in the now because there may be a time thing happening, but there's a knowing. And I'll give you an example of, like, if I were to ask you, do you think the sun will come up tomorrow? My guess is that most of you would say, I'm down. Have me down for that. Sun is coming up, 100%. Some of you might say, well, it might explode. You never know. Think that if you really tested it on a level, like an energetic level, I think you're probably with me that the sun will come up tomorrow. At some point, 10 billion years in the future, or whenever it is that the sun turns into a gas giant, engulfs the earth, the sun won't even come up because the earth won't even be here. But tomorrow it's going to come up, right? That's a knowing. Now, hope is for ordinary people. That's for, those who have no spiritual connection, no real, like, they don't know who they are. They don't know that they are source. Then faith, that's for the student, the spiritual student or the spiritual aspirant. They have faith. They have faith in that which they can't see. Now, the initiate, they have belief. Now, belief is this level of, I believe that I can do it. I believe that it's possible. I believe it's going to happen. And the master knows, because at the level of mastery, what you have here is at the level of mastery, you know because you are it. So let's go back to the idea. Let's think about this. So if we think about this from the idea of you are at one with source, and the only reason you think you're not is because you haven't realized that. You haven't got that in your awareness. And when you know that you are source, you are an aspect of divinity within you. When you know that, how could there ever be any outcome that you desired wholly and fully and completely, knowing that it's a higher level desire from the higher self? Not like a need, greed type desire. But by the way, all greed comes from always comes from fear. So it's not a fear-based, I need this desire. It's, I desire this because it's for my highest good. It enables me to express myself as an aspect of the divine. If you want that, if that's your desire, if you desire that, and you also know that you are source and you have that as a level of awareness, then how could you not have that? How could that not be on its way to you? Does that make sense? You getting that? I hope I've explained that well. So let me know what you think. Let me know, what do you think of this? Do you like this kind of message? What else I was going to share something else. Oh yeah, one other thought on this. Now, on our spiritual practitioner training, we have a technique which enables you to program the outcome that you desire as a knowing. So a lot of people think that if they just think the right thoughts, that will change the outcome. And it's actually not what you think, it's how you think it. How you think it. So, oh, Anna, great question. I will come to that. So, and actually this will answer your question. So Anna's asked, how do you know if you're source? How can you tell? Well, so you've probably learned, a lot of, even the biblical teachings, but most spiritual schools have at their core that you are an aspect of the divine is within you, and all you need to do is be aware of that. And it's like, well, that sounds nice, but I'm not feeling it, right? How do you know that the sun's going to come up versus how do you know that Santa Claus doesn't actually exist? Oh my God, if there's any children watching this, I probably ruined their childhood. No, That's your mum and dad, kids, right? How do you know the difference? Well, it's not what the thought is. It's actually how the thought is programmed. Another one. How do you know you're not 12 years old any longer? How do you know you're not 12? It's coded in your neurology in a particular way. And one of the things that we do on our spiritual practitioner certification training is we teach you how to take. So if you've got something you know and it's coded like in this particular way, and then there's an outcome that you desire and it's coded in a different way, right? What we do is we teach you to change the coding of the thing that you want to believe is true in the same way as the thing that is true that you already know is true, like the sun coming up tomorrow. And when they're coded the same, there is that level of knowing. So how do you know if your source? You code it in the same way in your neurology. Now, that's way beyond a Facebook Live. That's one of the reasons we run a spiritual practitioner certification training, so that we can teach this kind of stuff. You know, I had a great conversation yesterday with a fabulous, fabulous lady who invited me to speak on one of her podcasts on a telesummit. Lamari, her name is. Oh, just lovely, lovely woman. And one of the things she said was, she just had me, you know that you had me at hello, right? Like she said, I really get very frustrated. And I think she might have even said that a little bit stronger than that. Said, I get quite frustrated with the oversimplification of a lot of the things that create deep, profound change and enable us to really grow. And it's like, you know, there'll be somebody doing a Facebook Live as we speak saying, just think happy thoughts and think them harder and think them harder and harder, and then you'll get to be happy. And then the person is going, I don't know why I'm happy. I'm thinking these happy thoughts really hard. And it's not because of not what you're thinking. It's because of how you're thinking. If you can code that happy thought, right, the thing you want to think in the way that you know something is true, and you change the coding, then you are happy. And it's like that piece, how to do that, like it's like, if you need brain surgery, the brain surgeon is going to do a whole bunch of really, really, or any kind of surgery, really, really complicated stuff. There's a whole sequence of processes and procedures that, you know, including probably being anesthetized with most surgeries. I'd definitely be down for the anesthetic, with or without the surgery, frankly. I'm joking. Yeah, but some of those anesthetic drugs, they're pretty nice, right? Let's face it, they are pretty nice. So speaking as someone who had a lot of surgeries last year, I was definitely down for a lot of those drugs. So there's a whole bunch of procedures and processes that happen until the surgery happens, you get the healing, you get the result. And the surgeon doesn't go, well, I'm just going to bring you in and I'm going to say, think happy thoughts, and then, you know, that'll have your appendix out, job done. No. It's like, one of the things I know about who I am is, so a lot of people, they talk about being the spiritual messenger. I'm not the messenger. I mean, I am a messenger, but my purpose is I'm the spiritual technologist. There was a really good reason my first career was in engineering. I have a PhD in engineering, mathematical modeling, and aeroacoustics. So that's basically really hard sums to do with noisy fans. So I did a lot of high-speed rotating machinery, reducing the noise of that. And, my model is used on a lot of industrial applications, and the principles of my model have been applied to many, many other things that you would use. Like anytime you go on holiday and you go on a big old plane with a big old jet, like similar principles, right? Model used there, just saying, right? And so I'm the spiritual technologist. And, one of the things I often get really frustrated with the whole affirmations idea is, Anna says, totally with you on this. Yes. Just think happier thoughts, Anna. Yeah. Don't bother actually doing anything. Just sit and say, and navel gaze and think happy thoughts. Don't bother changing your life or getting a job or to go out and earn more money or getting fit and exercising. No. Just keep plugging away at the affirmations. So being the spiritual technologist means, it's like this. It's like, so let's say your car's not working, right? It's making a funny noise. Let's do a multiple choice question here. Do you, A, turn the radio up so you can't hear it? That's the equivalent of saying an affirmation. Or do you, B, take it to the mechanic and say, my car's making a noise like this. I think it needs some attention. And then when you've done that and the mechanic says, right, the problem is this, your wheel bearing on your front driver's side wheel is broken. Then do you say, great, I'll just say, I have the perfect wheel bearing. My wheel bearing is perfect and complete and whole. My wheel bearing is perfect and complete and whole. Or do you say, see, great, could you fix it, please? And let the mechanic get on and fix it. So, oh yeah, think your money into your account. Yeah. Just, the money is there. I'm infinitely abundant. No, the way you make money, by the way, is a really great example. You know, I talked at the beginning about the sales conversations. If you want to increase your income comes from you giving something of value, finding something that people want, and selling it to them. That's it. When people go, oh no, I don't do that, I have a job. You sell your time, all right? You sell your time and your skills and your expertise. And the greater the value that you offer, the greater your income. And the thing that you can change so if you're a coach, practitioner in some way, if you want more money, want more clients, have more sales conversations. So work with the thing that you can do, that you can actually change. And if you think you need to use and apply some of the spiritual technology that we've talked about, or you want to learn the spiritual technology, because that's one of the things we do here in Psycademy. If you'd like to learn our spiritual technology so that you can do things like release negative emotions, find those blocks, that unmet need that causes addiction so that we can release it, help somebody find their life's purpose, help someone remove all those different parts of have you ever had that time and you find yourself doing one thing, you want to do one thing and then you find yourself doing something else, and then like you don't know what to do because you've got all this, like it's almost like having multiple personalities, but not quite. So finding ways to create so that you become, you have that, like you're an integral whole. So having that integrity. If you want to learn those kinds of spiritual technologies, how to, what else do we teach? How to bend time. We were pioneers in the time bending. I know some people have gone off and slightly borrowed our techniques. That's cool. Kind of not, but you know, it happens. So bending time so that you can send yourself messages to your past and your future self comes back to you so that you can know. And if you've ever wished you'd known then what you know now, you can absolutely do this with this time bending. Another one is something called the creation dichotomy. Have you ever had an experience in your life that you really don't like and you want to uncreate it? What if you could? So what you do is you do this creation dichotomy process. So you basically remove all the energy from that creation, bring it back down, and you take it right up to right through the veils, all through the 3 veils of creation, and then bring it back down as you like. Ta-da! If you're interested in that, I will pop a link in the little comments thing there. So I will hang around for another 2 seconds, 3 seconds, or as long as anyone asks me any questions. And if you're watching the replay, don't worry, I will come back and answer the question as well. So what questions do you have? Did you like this? If you liked it, click the little likey thing. I like the likey thing. Little hearts go, wee, makes me feel loved. Don't need to feel loved, but it's always nice, right? So Rachel says, yes, be great. Okay, I'll pop that in. And Rachel, our website, yeah, you might want to go and head over. Karmic alignment, Rachel, that's the thing that you might want to look out for. Karmic alignment on our website, on the psycademy.co.uk website. I'll pop both of the links below. Awesome. I'm liking those little things running across. Keep it going, keep it going. Go on. Let's get a few more. I like it. I like it. Beautiful. Alrighty, so I'm not seeing any more questions. So till next time, which will be later in the week, probably Thursday. Today's Tuesday, all day, I believe. I know what day it is. Not. I'm good at lots of things, but not necessarily. It's all that time bending. I don't know where I am. No, I do. That's why I have my calendar out all the time. Alrighty, so till next time, lots and lots of love to you. If you have a question that you would like answered, if you have a topic that you want me to cover on these lives, really, really happy to do that. Go over to go to our fan page, the Psycademy, Lisa Turner Psycademy fan page, and just say, Lisa, hey Lisa, could you do a Facebook Live on blah? Could you do a YouTube Live on blah? Happy to do that. Just go and swing by over there, let me know. Alrighty, till next time, lots of love. Bye.